Oh, hey there. This is Dr. Evanosar. Hope you're having a great start to your week. Happy Monday. Happy Valentine's Day. Today is Valentine's Day, and I'm down here with some good friends enjoying Valentine's Day. It's a beautiful day down here in Houston, Texas at Evolution Fitness and Wellness. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you're spending some time with your loved ones. So one of the things that we have our clients do is stretch their hamstrings. And today we're going to discuss the hamstrings, their functional role, as well as 3 go-to exercises. Because one of the things we need to do is for some of our clients, stop stretching their hamstrings because they're actually not stretching their hamstrings. Let me give you an example. If I'm standing here like this and I'm going forward like this, yeah, I can feel a stretch in my hamstrings, but we want to look at where is your client really stretching from and or what is stretching or overstretching. If you kind of look at where I'm at, you'll see like I'm getting a lot of stretch in my upper back. I'm getting a lot of stretch in my lower back relative to my hamstring. Yeah, I feel it here, but we want to think about relativity. My low back muscles, my spinal erectors, my thoracolumbar fascia stretching way more than my hamstring. So the relative length between my erectors and my hamstring isn't changing. In fact, I'm overstretching my low back, and that that overstretching and lack of control that I'm creating by that length will make my hamstrings tighter because the nervous system will say, hey, I don't like what you're doing to my low back. I'm going to start to lock things down. One of those areas it locks down are the hamstrings. So we want to be careful and strategic about how we lengthen our clients' hamstrings. One of the things we teach our clients, number 1, is alignment. Align your thoracolpelvic cylinders, which is the rib cage over top of the pelvis, so that when we train them, then they can lengthen where they need to. Because when we think about it, when do you really need hamstring length? You need hamstring length when you're going to do something like reach down and pick something off the floor so that your client can get anterior pelvic rotation. A short hamstring or short hamstrings keep the client in posterior pelvic rotation, and then they keep overstretching their back to get to the floor. So let's train our clients to use their hamstrings appropriately to create proper anterior pelvic rotation. And we need to create that length. So let me show you 3 things you can do to help improve your client's hamstring length. You already know how to stretch. Hopefully you know how to stretch. And teach your clients that because some clients will need passive lengthening of their hamstrings, especially some of our older clients who are stuck in posterior pelvic tilt because of spinal stenosis. So here's one pattern, is the elevated hip hinge bridge. And what you may say, like, Dr. Oso, this is not really teaching my client to lengthen their hamstrings. What it's teaching our client to do is actually hinge through their pelvis. One of the things that will lengthen the hamstrings is to lengthen and shorten appropriately. So here we go. We're going to align the head and neck, align that thoracolpelvic cylinder, come up into that bridge position. So now my hamstrings are relatively short, so short here at the hip. Now when I come down, I'm going to lengthen around the hips while maintaining alignment, and then hinge back up. So now I have the concentric phase of the pattern, and now I have the eccentric phase of the pattern. So that way I'm teaching the hamstrings to shorten, be real short here, and then to lengthen around the hip. So again, the hip hinge bridge is a great way to start to train that the function of the hamstrings, which is to start to create and control hip hinging. So hip hinge bridge, number 1 pattern. If your client cannot do that on a box or you don't have a box, do it on the floor. Just use the same concept. Number 2, split stance hip hinge. Hip hinge and then the split stance hip hinge. Because again, in this position, you're teaching the client to functionally lengthen, eccentrically control, or have the hamstrings eccentrically control that forward bending. That's where our clients struggle. They're stuck here in posterior pelvic tilt, so when they bend forward, they're trying to do one of these things. So we need to teach our client how to hinge. You start in parallel stance, obviously, and teach them how to hip hinge and rotate around the femoral head. Then the progression to that is the split stance hip hinge, where now one leg goes back, and now you're focusing more on the front leg. I'm going to flip around. Unfortunately, my butt's going to be in your screen, so I apologize for that. But when I flip around, it's important that we keep the pelvis and that thoracolpelvic cylinder squared up to that forward leg. So that way the client isn't like this, which is most of our clients are like that. We want to square up, hinge so that they feel it here, feel it through their hamstrings, so that you're teaching them how to control rotation, because hamstrings are also controllers of rotation. So we got the hip hinge bridge, we've got the hamstring length. The 3rd exercise is you can do a forward lunge or a reverse lunge. We'll start with a reverse lunge. Reverse lunge and forward reach. So it's really just a hip hinge. Most of these patterns are variations of the hip hinge pattern. So what we're going to do is have our client, again, align the head and neck in the thoracopelvic cylinder, square up the pelvis to the forward leg. We'll step back with the left leg, hinge, and then come back up. So it's a reverse lunge and hinge. So that way we're teaching our client to get down to the floor and then come back up. Get down to the floor and come back up. So control that eccentric, reach towards the floor, and then come back. So from behind, it's align, stack, hinge, and then come back up. Hinge, and come back up, staying square to that forward leg. Super effective way to train alignment, breathing control, train the hip hinge pattern, and train, most importantly, that eccentric lengthening of the hamstrings. And that's how you can help your clients really start to gain length. More importantly, change their strategy for everyday life, for their exercises, for the things they want to do, like pick up their grandchildren, pick up a heavy load of laundry, pick up their groceries, to carry on everyday life and use their hamstrings appropriately. And that's how you become the go-to specialist for your current clients, help them with a lot of low back issues, as well as knee issues, as well as low back and SI joint issues, and help your clients progress to do the things they need to, want to, and love to do, and attract more individuals that need, want, and will pay you for your expertise. Hope you enjoyed that series, or today's episode, I should say. And if you're looking for more information, we're covering the hamstrings in depth in 2 weeks on Two Anatomy Geeks. Jill and I do a brand new series of Two Anatomy Geeks, or we do Two Anatomy Geeks. We got a brand new series coming up in 2 weeks where we're covering the SI joint, pelvis, and walking. Hamstrings are a big part of pelvis stability, SI joint, sacroiliac joint stability, as well as walking. So we're going to share with you strategies on how to use your anatomy skill, teach you all about the hamstrings, how they control the knee, how they control the hip, how they control the sacroiliac joint, and how you can use this information, most importantly, use this information to help your clients walk more efficiently, because we know that walking more efficiently is directly correlated to longevity. Your clients will live longer if they learn how to walk and you improve their walking speed and their walking efficiency. So I'll put the link below this at some point, and if you're looking for more information, check out Two Anatomy Geeks at Discover IMI. We look forward to seeing you and joining our community. It's a great community, very supportive, great people, very empowering. 2 weeks on Saturday, all sessions are recorded. We'll get CECs for you as soon as the series is done. Look forward to seeing you as part of a great community. Make it a great day. Get out there, share some love, and we'll see you next time. This is Dr. Evanosar with Integrative Movement Insider. Take care.